Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to tonight's ITREB talk and Yalimada to all of those tuning in. One sunny day, all the colours in the world started to argue about who was the most important. Green started by saying, just look out over the countryside and you can see that I am in the majority. But blue interrupted, saying, water is the basis of all life and comes from the deep blue sea. Surely that is more important. Yellow said, I am the colour of warmth, laughter and joy. The sun and the moon and stars all bring happiness to the world. Orange then jumped in. I am the colour of health and vitality. Just think of carrots, oranges and mangoes. Red shouted out, I am the leader of you all, as I am brave and willing to fight for any cause. Purple pronounced in a regal voice, I am the colour of royalty and power. People obey me and so should you. Finally, Indigo, raising her usually quiet voice, said, in my presence you are all superficial, and I am needed for balance, prayer and inner peace. The arguments became louder until suddenly there was a flash of brilliant lightning, a clap of thunder, accompanied by heavy rainfall. Rain then spoke. Such foolish colours, why do you fight amongst yourselves? You have forgotten that God is all-powerful and made you unique, each with a special purpose. Join hands and come with me. God will stretch you out into a great rainbow across the sky, reminding us all how much we are loved by Him and that we can all live in peace together with hope for a better future. Some of us may have noticed the many rainbows created by children displayed across the windows and towns and cities in which we live. Initially, this was just another activity to keep the little ones occupied. But these rainbows are no longer just made by children. They are made by people of all ages and displayed across the world. They have become symbols of unity and hope that the crisis we face together one day shall pass. The crisis has presented us with opportunities to help neighbours, friends and members of our own family. These acts of kindness and generosity reflect the humanity deep within us and how interconnected we all are. In a speech made by Maulana Hazar Imam at the prize-giving ceremony of the Aga Khan Music Awards in March 2019, he said, the technological forces that are reshaping our world now mean that neighbours who live on the other side of the planet are as close to us as our neighbours who live across the street. In such a complex, interconnected world, with vast flows of information and communications, diverse cultures and languages, how do we, as a global community of Ismailis, identify the ethics and values that we wish to embrace? How can we, as individuals and as a community, respond to some of the immediate challenges we face and build resilience and resolve to deal with the problems of the future? The first step is to explore our deep spiritual traditions. Last week, we revisited the Golden Jubilee ayat from Surah 4 Al-Nisa, where we are told, O humankind, be careful of your duty to your Lord, who created you from a single soul, and from it created its mate, and from them twain hath spread abroad a multitude of men and women. This beautiful ayat reminds us of the interconnected nature of our shared existence and alludes to how deep this connection actually is. Whenever we see or experience another human suffering, or those less fortunate than us, do we ever feel their pain? Are we ever moved to do something about it? And if so, do we ever ask ourselves why? We are told that we are created from a single soul, connecting us at a much deeper level than just the material world around us. And we are warned not to forget that we are encouraging to fulfill the responsibilities we have to each other and to the rest of Allah's creation. The pandemic has also highlighted how interdependent we are. Take our key workers, for example. Until now, we may not have given much thought to how important these people are to us. Today, if a key worker doesn't turn up to work, whether it be a supermarket assistant, a doctor, a nurse, or even the driver who delivers our online orders, Our lives are impacted significantly. What we once may have taken for granted is now what we are very grateful for. In the midst of this crisis, we are recognizing how important we truly are to each other. And by thinking of others in society, we also deepen the understanding of our own self. This is because when we engage with those who are different to us, it helps us recognize who we truly are. We know what we are by that which we are not. By engaging with diversity in this world, we are humbled by the breadth and depth of Allah's creation, observing the multitude of cultures, languages, and faiths contributing to the beautiful mosaic of human life. The second step is to reflect upon the lessons from our history. Engagement with the other is not a new requirement of modern times. For example, from the early 8th century to the late 15th century, Muslims ruled over Spain for some 800 years, and it was during this period in history that a distinct Spanish Muslim culture evolved. Artifacts and architecture from this time illustrate how diverse people all came together and contributed to the flowering of civilization at that time. A number of well-respected Muslim and non-Muslim scholars emerged at this time. Ibn Rushd engaged with the works of Greek philosophers like Plato and had a distinct aptitude for philosophy and medicine. Moses Maimonides, arguably the most influential Jewish philosopher in history, was able to critique and integrate Ibn Rushd's ideas under Spanish Muslim rule. By being open-minded and intellectually curious, we too can build bridges with people from all communities and faiths so that we can jointly develop the knowledge and resources we need to face our problems together. And our Imam has been a beacon of light for the world through the work of the Imamate institutions and by championing notions of a pluralistic, cosmopolitan society, highlighting these as key to a more peaceful and progressive world. In the Joe DD lecture given by Maulana Hazar Imam at Harvard University on the 12th of November 2015, he said, "A pluralist, cosmopolitan society is a society which not only accepts difference, but actively seeks to understand it and to learn from it. In this perspective, diversity is not a burden to be endured, but an opportunity to be welcomed." He went further, quoting the former Governor General of Canada, Adrienne Clarkson, and said, "What is needed is a readiness to listen to your neighbour, even when you may not particularly like him. Is that message clear? You listen to people you don't like." Every human being is our neighbour, and we did not need a pandemic to tell us this. Embracing diversity, sharing cosmopolitan ethics in society can yield significant results. But how can we, as individuals, apply these principles to our everyday life? Encountering other people is a fact of life. One could argue it is a necessity for society and for the economy to function. But more importantly, it is important for us to feel human. Take the current situation. Even though we are practicing physical distancing, most of us are not socially isolated. We have all found ways to keep that feeling of togetherness, whether it be through video calls or new community WhatsApp groups, or even coming out together to clap for those key workers we care about so much. We have done this not because we have to, but because we want to. Maybe even because we need to. Just the other day, whilst I was returning from my daily walk, I noticed another person standing at the end of our driveway. He shouted out to me, "So you're number 10. I'm number 40. We're on the same community WhatsApp group." I'd never seen this person in my life, and yet we both shared a moment of laughter and humour when I responded by saying, "I'm not a number. My name is Mohammed." To which he responded, "You're quite right. I'm Daniel, not number 40. It is moments such as these that touch our core, our inner being, making us realise what it is to be connected and what it is to be human. When this crisis passes, what can we commit to so that we do not fall back into the illusion of living in a bubble? Can we find a new type of music to enjoy? Or learn a new language perhaps? Our UK jurisdiction Jamaat comprises of Murids from all around the world, and they all come from a range of diverse traditions. How much do we really know about each other? And could this be the opportunity for us to come closer as one Jamaat? Are we conscious of the diversity that exists between the generations of our families? And how willing are we to listen to each other and learn from one another? Grandparents, can you possibly learn about how best to use video conferencing technology from your children and grandchildren? Grandchildren, can you learn a new qasida, ginan or madho, or even learn about the times when your grandparents were young children like you? It is through building new relationships and enhancing existing ones that we come to know more about ourselves, our families, our communities, and the societies in which we live. How will we keep that shared sense of humanness alive after this crisis passes? What this situation has ultimately shown us is that we are all human and we all live in this world together, regardless of our faith, culture, language, or status. We are all created equal from the same soul, and it is our duty to care and nurture for that soul and learn about all that it encounters. Whilst we have more time to reflect in the coming days and weeks, it would be fitting to end this evening's talk by sharing the following extract of a speech by Maulana Hazar Imam made on receiving the Tolerance Award at the Tutzing Academy in Germany on the 20th of May 2006, where he referred to an essential Christian story. Who is my neighbour? One of the central Christian narratives asks. Jesus responds by telling the story of a Good Samaritan, a foreigner, a representative of the other, who reaches out sympathetically across ethnic and cultural divides to show mercy to the fallen stranger at the side of the road. Wishing you all health, safety and peace at this time. Ya Ali Madad.